Well, hey everyone, I'm Stuart, back with another video. This one, Mortal Kombat, gets the love. Let's go.
Outstanding. Excellent. Excellent.
Well, hey everyone, you're back with Stuart. This one, a quick little video we're going to do on my Australian-made Leisure Allied Mortal Kombat. It's actually the Mortal Kombat 2 with a Mortal Kombat or Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 board in it. Now, we just went to play this last weekend and something funny going on with the screens, so I'm just going to switch that on now and let you have a look at it. Alright, well here we go. And what I'll do is I'll switch the light off now. That's better. So you see it starts out looking good. We might fast forward through a little bit of this any button. Hold start button to exit. We don't need to wait for that. Alright, we can actually just see the screen starting to flicker around now. It's jumping around a bit.
Fight!
Still kind of looks normal. And now can you see the image is sort of it's running away, stretching and coming back. Can you make that out up the top here? Look at that push start disappearing. It's kind of an odd one. I've never seen that before. And then it just gradually gets worse and worse. So once again, we'll fast forward through this so you can see what's going on. And then it kind of goes back to normal. Stretching out again. Some kind of weird fold over or something now happening. Look at that.
Fatality.
Then believe it or not, you give it a moment. May even go back to normal.
Round one. Fight.
Alright, the light back on. Alright, so there you have it. Some kind of issue with the chassis, obviously. Now, I'm just going to pull that out, switch it off. You obviously don't want to run it with this bright line too long. That's a big no-no because it can burn in a line on the screen. Joey's the king of arcade chassis repair, so we'll get this out now and get it over there. So I've just got my light and screwdriver and alligator lead. The light, obviously, because you can't see in the back unless you're going to pull the machine right out. What this chassis is, I actually don't know. Doesn't seem to be marked anywhere what it is. And look at the big silicon bodge on the flyback. Oh, what's that about? Although I don't think this problem is a flyback issue. You never know. It's more likely a capacitor issue, I'm guessing. But what that big silicon blob's about, maybe the flyback's just got a crack in it and that was a simple repair. And maybe it's actually, maybe that repair is actually holding well and doesn't need anything. But Joey will know. So hopefully this chassis is repairable. the tube, a Toshiba A59JMZ90X. Now this must be a good tube. I get an excellent picture, or I have had an excellent picture up until now. Alright, let's get this chassis out. So yeah, we're just going to discharge this. I'll get the light in the cabinet now. And alligator clip just up here somewhere, and we'll make sure it's connected well. Can't come off. And I make sure this end, the alligator clip's right on and can't come off. And we're just going to make sure there's nothing. And there's nothing there anyway, so it must be a chassis that kind of discharges itself. That came off easy. And we'll just double check. Yeah, nothing there. So I'll just leave that there. And the rest of this, if you've seen any of my other videos, is pretty simple, just disconnecting things, and we will just unscrew just some screws on the side here holding the chassis on. Alright, with the chassis out, we can see the chassis itself is actually really clean, apart from this bodgy on the flyback. It's a nice chassis. Identifiers, never heard of this brand, made in Japan, must be good.
Excellent.
Alright, well, I'm guessing it's just a bad capacitor. Actually, it doesn't look like it's ever really, oh sorry, yes it has been worked on, this flyback. The flyback has been out, or either just resoldered. Dry joint or something, but doesn't look like it's been worked on anywhere else really. But yeah, I'd guess just maybe it's due for capacitors. So I like to just put them in a box for Joey, and I just normally write on the lid what it's doing. So this would be a slow vertical collapse, I'm guessing you'd call it. So hopefully we'll hear back from Joey soon, and we can get this back in the machine. Alright, well, I've just heard back from Joey, and unfortunately that chassis that has come out of this cabinet is no longer any good. Apparently he fixed it, and while it was under test, the flyback went bad. So I don't really know much more about it, other than unless I get another flyback, which is not looking too good. That chassis is just a parts donor from now on. So look, I can't do anything else but fit another chassis for now. Maybe we'll get that chassis working in the future, but for now we're going to focus on putting in another chassis. Now I did a video a while back about China chassis, and that's what we're going to try and do this time around. So I've checked readings on the deflection coil, and I think from memory I've got 1 ohm, 10 ohm or 9 ohm or something like that. So that's within parameters, I think, for this. Now this is talking in Henrys on this sticker. There is, I think, some sort of basic conversion that can get you, give you an idea of whether you're close or not. But what I'm going to do is put it in and test it, see how it goes. Worst case, maybe I'll pull out a K7000 and try that also if this doesn't work. But I pulled out this bit of harness from this cabinet, and it's a bit sort of botchy. It's a bit weird where the power for the chassis is going through this one plug, which I don't particularly like. It's got some old connections just done with tape, so it needs work anyway. So I think I'm going to do away with this. You can see that's power for the chassis video, and then on the other end we've got power and video. So what I've got is just going to narrow it down. So I'm just going to make it a bit more basic where we've got the video. I found this in my box of bits, and that's the right video connector for that chassis. So that simplifies that. And then I've just got to take, this is what you get with the China. I've just got to take this socket here and basically just make up a cable here, this one to this one. So I'll make that up. And lastly, it'll just be the deflection coil plug is different. So what's on the back of the tube at the moment is different to this. So I'll just have to modify that with this socket. So I'll do that, and then hopefully we'll have a picture, a good picture again. We'll certainly see. I will check. I've got a printed off sort of a file of 10,000 tube numbers, and I will just quickly check that tube number and make sure it's not some sort of funny oddball. We'll make sure it definitely has a 6.3 volt heater. After doing that, I'll just get it in there and hook it up and see what happens. And I just found it before, A59 JMZ90X socket CR23. We know that. A lot of the other stuff doesn't really have any meaning to me. It's really just this 6.3 heater voltage.
Outstanding.
So we should be good to go. All right, back of the tube's a bit grubby, so we're just going to give it a bit of a clean. Kind of hard to hold the camera and do this all at the same time, but we've got all that black stuff. All this black stuff coming off.
Superb.
Obviously this tube was discharged when I pulled the chassis off last time, and it hasn't been run since, so nothing to worry about there. Right, maybe one more time, eh? Still got black stuff coming off. Okay, that'll do it. Alright, well, it's in. Now, you always do those checks, you know. Neck board, tube ground, which is that one. It's in. It actually it's got like a dual wire thing off the back of the tube for the grounding, but that ground is in. Cap, power, video, deflection coil. Excuse my crimps, but this could be short-lived. But let's fire this thing up and see what I get.
Just thought I'd see how you're going.
Well, things are going pear-shaped. So for those that are watching, the China chassis I had in the white box there, actually it blew a fuse. So I take it didn't like the 1 ohm on the the horizontal. So I've gone and put another chassis in there now. This is a WeAre, but it looks like it'll be more compatible with the yoke on this tube. But I did test this is the transformer in it, and it's outputting over 120 volts, and that's with 248 volts that I've measured coming in at the moment. It's well over 120, and then you can see there's 2 more transformers on the floor, so I've just tested 2 more and they're all over 120. And ideally I really want to run this chassis on well, no more than 110. 100 would be ideal. So I'm going to have to find another transformer. I'm going to have to keep digging through my parts until I find a transformer that's you know, maybe hopefully 110 or a bit under. So anyway, it just keeps on giving. I just want to play Mortal. Doing my absolute head in. I've just blown another chassis, and this one,
Fatality.
this one should have worked because the numbers are are correct for the deflection coil on this tube. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to abandon this tube here for now. I'm going to have to put this tube aside for now and go find something else that I can actually match up to a chassis. So we're going to go upstairs and have a look. And look, we've got a tape here that the other side of the world can read as well. It's got inches. But here we're looking at 520 mil, and that's about 410 for the mounting holes, but it's really just a A59. If we find another A59, it should just have the same mounting holes. Let's go find a tube. All right, here's the spare parts department. This will be an A59 tube in that. Now, so tubes everywhere. The tube department. There's the little ones up the top. We've got A63s everywhere, but they're no good to me. Be worst case scenario, I think an A63 would probably fit in that cabinet, but I'd have to cut down the plywood a little bit. It would just fit. Now this, I'm actually running out of A59s. I think I've only got two here now. The one you just saw, and this here. This is how I got this this old TV. It's a TIAC, but this TV came like this. Someone cut the plastic off the sides of it to put it in an arcade machine, and that's obviously how they were running it, just straight off the what would it be? Composite input, I'm guessing. So I think I'm going to get this one down. See this here? This is a A59, but it's no good to me because it's the same bloody number as the tube in the machine. So I'm really going to have to suss out a chassis that'll run these. So this would be a donor for something needing a 25 inch, but not without a chassis it won't be. So I do recall getting this TV and actually doing something, setting this TV up and putting it on an arcade chassis to test the picture when I first got it before it went on the shelf. So I'm going to dig this out and set something up, do another test. All right, and neither of these two TV tubes worked out for this one, but they can go back up on the shelf for hopefully another day. All right, well, it took a little while, but I finally got there. I've now got a tube fully working.
Well done.
With a China chassis. So what I want to do is talk about the mission I went through to get here. So let's take a look. As you can see, this looks really good now. And so this tube can go into the Mortal Kombat, swap out for the other one. The other tube's actually still in the cabinet, so that's the next thing, is to put this tube in. And this tube has the same part number, but what we're going to talk about now is the deflection coil. So as you can see, that's the China chassis still running now. So let's switch this off. So yeah, excuse my big mess, but I've been at this for a couple of days in my spare time. So first thing I'm going to talk about is the power supply. So I think that's actually where I went horribly wrong. I basically blew up two chassis in the process inside the cabinet of the Mortal Kombat 2 by simply not checking the power supply. So I had an over voltage coming from the transformers. So simply by putting the chassis in the cabinet without checking, and possibly some differences in the yoke or deflection coil, I blew two chassis, and I think it's just transistors. Well, I've actually already repaired it. The China one was just transistors. So all right, so I've got a Variac here, and just to clarify, I had a couple of comments on the Variac not being an isolated transformer, and yeah, that is correct, but probably what was not seen in a previous video or or photo is this little isolation transformer. So the reason for the variac is to drop the voltage before it's going into the isolation transformer, and that's to get me down below 110 volts. So this chassis here actually says 110 volt on it, on the input, but I've got it down to 105. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at it without the variac. Okay, so we can see the isolation transformer is outputting 125, and I think yesterday it was actually 128, so way too high. Probably does vary a bit day to day between morning and night, or weekday and weekend, but yeah, obviously this is too high, so the reason for the variac is obvious. So let's put that back. And we can see running through the variac, we've now got AC 105 and 105 coming out of that, which is obviously making the CRT chassis much happier. So yeah, this is outputting around 220 to give me this 105. So that's that first part. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to find another transformer for the Mortal Kombat. I've got nothing that's really going to output this. So I did order a Japanese step down, which outputs 100, and maybe with the Australian sort of 240 plus, we might end up with a similar figure. So we'll see what happens there. And the next thing I want to talk about is how previously, when mucking around with CRT chassis, I've been going off ohmage of the deflection coil, and why this time around I kind of had to look into it a little bit deeper. So I've got this dairy which I bought ages ago, and it was after watching Adrian's Digital Basement. I first bought this really for capacitors, but I asked AI whether this was a suitable meter for checking the deflection coil, and it come back, yeah, 100% positive it is. In fact, it's actually one of the main functions of this meter. So with that said, I then started looking into it a little bit deeper and checking the inductance or millihenries. So let's have a look at that. So let's discharge this one. Let's get this off. And see, I've had this. The other thing I wanted to mention is this has been running for a bit and it's all cool. So the hot's cool, the flyback's cool, so that means it's happy. And actually, when it blew up, this was all absolutely roasting hot. Like, couldn't touch it with your fingers, and that's obviously not a good sign. So let's have a look at this here. So yeah, if you've got one of these Chinas, not all of them have the. See, this is one I've been hacking up for parts, and it doesn't actually show the millihenries, but see, this one does. And the more I dive into it, this millihenries is far more important than ohmage for reasons I won't go into. So yeah, I'm no electrical engineer, so I won't sort of dive into the reasons why, but obviously this has to be correct, and what we'll do now is hook up the dairy here, and we'll actually have a look. So here we go. So we're only going to worry about the horizontal mainly, but we will check the vertical as well. So we're blue, we want the red. That one's, all we'll have to do is come right in here. I don't know why we didn't get longer leads. Is there a reason why these come with such short leads? All right, so you can see here we're on the horizontal, and we've got 1075, but this is UH, so that's a decimal conversion. We'll bring it up to 1 millihenry. So, and you can see here, the horizontal, 1 to 1.3 millihenry, so that's perfect. And what's to note is the other tube that's in the machine with the same Toshiba tube number, on the horizontal I'm actually only getting 0.5. So I was unable to sort of match a chassis to that. And what we'll do now is we'll look at the other side. So we can go to...
Excellent.
All right, and now the meter's actually in a different range for the vertical. We now are actually in mH, millihenries, and we've got 12.9 on the vertical. So we're in the green and the yellow's down, hooked on the bottom there. And it's ever so slightly out. You see this is actually stating vertical 7.5 to 12 millihenries, but I think that's such a slight variance on the vertical, that's perfectly fine. And well, you can see by the picture, it's all within range and adjustment. So yeah. So yeah, we'll be playing Mortal again in no time. And see, so the difference when we're talking ohms, see this deflection coil here is showing me 1.3, 1.2, 1.3. And this is the surprise on the vertical, it's showing me a very low 4.3. So if I went off the ohms reading alone, I probably wouldn't have tried this chassis, thinking that most of these universal chassis like to see around 8 to 10 ohms, and this is like half that. So I probably wouldn't have attempted it without reading those millihenry readings and then seeing that it's actually correct. So with the millihenries being more important, I was then able to connect the China chassis and actually see it work. So there you go. So lastly, let's just have a look at what happened. So this is previously over voltage. So I think the tube and deflection coil were correct, but yeah, pumping nearly 130 volts into a 110 chassis, we just ended up in a flyback that, just come and have a look, that's actually got so hot it went fat and just about self-destructed, but it's rubbish now. So, and you can see here I've been playing around with, this is all the transistors and stuff I've been going through down here on the floor, just going through old parts to sort of, and using AI to substitute part numbers. So, and obviously that's another thing in itself, the parameters have got to be pretty close. All right, let's get this tube and chassis into the cabinet. Alright, we're back in the cabinet, we're up and running. You can see the variac is in there. The variac is just on the CRT chassis side of things, nothing to do with the arcade power supply or anything, the way I've wired it. You still see my isolation transformer there. Now just coming off the test pattern generator to the Mortal Kombat board, you can see I've got my mirror set up so I can adjust it. So I've just got to, I think it's these two, so we'll just try and sort that out. Let's see if we get the right one first. No. Alright, here we go. There we go. And we can see pictures off center, pin cushion is out a little bit, so let's sort that. I just turn the light off actually. Alright, pin, and we're going to need a degauss as well. Now. You know what, I haven't given it a degauss yet. You can see so I got a red patch here. But it's looking pretty good for China. Okay, I've got a little magnet in my hand here. I think that got it. You know what, I gotta say, this is looking pretty good. I was able to just bring up the colors, the drive a bit on the chassis running the game rather than the test pattern generator, which seemed to be blooming when I turned them up. But on the actual game board itself, I was able to bring up the color drives and that and the other color adjustments a fair bit more. And it's looking great. I'm surprised. And lastly, the picture is just sort of slightly tilted down that way. And I don't want to undo the deflection coil to turn it really if I don't have to. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to back off the screws holding the CRT tube into the actual cabinet and see what I can get out of the mounting points, because there is a fair bit of wiggle room in that. I might just be able to get the tiniest bit of rotation of the whole tube to level it off so I can live with it. And I think that's it. I think that's CRT picture problem solved. Alright, and with that done, let's move on to the sexy part. Side art. Alright, well the next thing for this Mortal cabinet is side decals. Now this is a genuine Mortal Kombat 2 for Australia, and if we come around here, here's the remnants of it. We've still got MK2 on the control panel front. That's original, and we've got the LAI logo there. Once again, it'll be a bit different to the American counterpart. It did have decals on the side once before. We've still got sticker residue up the side.
Yeah,
see, we've got this sticker residue up the side. It goes all the way around the cabinet. It's even up the top here. So we know it had a full-size artwork on the side. So we know that this cabinet would have had Raiden on the sides. If we just come around and have a look at Terminator. So if we just look at this Terminator cabinet, you can see how the sticker shrinks and retracts and leaves that sticker line around the outside. So that's what you're looking at on the Mortal. See down here, all around here, you get it. So you get this sticker residue line where the decal or sticker has shrunk. So that's how we know that there was a sticker on the side of the Mortal cabinet once before. Here's our decals ready to go. Now they're just being laid out flat on a table, just going through like that process just of unrolling, because they did come in this tube. rolled up quite tight. So that was actually Noodle Shirt that supplied these. So he's actually done a bit of artwork for me now. Does a pretty good job. So these are just sort of pre-laid out ready. Just so when I go to work with it, they're not trying to roll back up into a tight curl. So how cool does that look? All right, so lastly, I can't stress about cleanliness coming to do this. So we've got to be really, really clean. So we're going to clean the cabinet, we're going to clean the table, we're going to clean the decals down again prior to doing anything, because one little speck can cause a problem. And even if I do everything perfectly, I'll probably end up with something like a little something coming through the decal that I can't get out. But I'm going to try and get it perfect, but we'll just see how we go. I've got these little applicators here. This is what I'll be using. This actually came with a big gigantic decal for a jukebox that was put onto a big sheet of glass. So see, it's got this sort of felty side to it, and it's really good for sort of working like this to get the decal down. Hands down, definitely the best artwork to ever make it onto a arcade machine cabinet. Just my opinion, but it's absolutely awesome. So I've taken out these 2 bolts here. It forms part of the cabinet. So the decal can go over the top, and then these can go back in after. And the other thing I want to do is pull off the T-mold so we can then cut the decal really nicely around once it's on there. And I'll probably clean up this T-mold and reuse it, just because I'm not really restoring this machine. I just want to keep its originality in a way. Okay. We're on, are we? So I've got thinners and wax and grease remover. Thinners I'll use to get some of the old sticker residue, and then I'll go over the whole thing with wax and grease remover. So you can see the residue of the sticker. It's going to be a bit of scrubbing required, but we'll get it off. Alright, well, I finished cleaning. I've got a couple of little defects, but gee, these old Leisure Allied cabinets are so good with the plywood construction. This thing would have taken a beating, and it's still in great condition. Yeah, a couple of little tiny things which I'll just leave. But yeah, no, I've scrubbed this thing, the side of it 3 times now, and ready for the decal. Well, I'm really happy with the way this turned out. As you saw, I used the mild detergent solution method to get these down. Really happy with the way it's come out around the edges, the cutting in that. My only gripe would be that these decals are really high gloss, and if I could order them again, I'd probably order like a semi-gloss finish would be much better.
Hey, these look awesome.
They do, don't they? They turn out really well. Looks great.
That's great. It's a pretty big sticker. What did they cost?
Oh, not a lot. Pretty cheap, really. I think they're only like $20 or something.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, how's that game on the weekend? The Dockers.
Finish him.
All right, well, last words for this one. Let's talk about isolation transformers powering the CRT chassis. There's 3 times now been caught out now, I think, just making the assumption that an original untouched cabinet would have isolation transformer that's outputting the correct voltage, but not such in this case. Well over 125 volt, and I paid the price dearly. Don't make the same mistake as me. I'm still learning my lesson. Well, that's it for this video. If you like that, you know what to do, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. For upcoming videos where we have a look at this Atari Vindicators, an Australian Leisure Allied Industries skill tester from the 1980s, and what makes a Pepsi bike a Pepsi bike.